Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. And so if you are new, please make sure you subscribe. This is part one of two videos. I will be taking you through the different restaurants as well as excursions and a private dinner on the beach. But let's start out with just transportation. We used the hotel transportation to get to our resort, and we were staying at the Marriott Cancun, an all-inclusive resort. We did 5 nights with our Bonvoy points. This was an anniversary trip for us, and I have to say, the service was absolutely phenomenal for almost every single day of our stay. I think that this is a beautiful resort, but what makes it amazing is just the 5-star service. Our room was on the top floor and just far enough away from the elevators to be quiet, but also close enough to be convenient. That was the welcome drink that they had given us, but the fridge was always fully stocked. After the first day, they started also putting in beer and leaving little snacks. I thought there was a decent amount of hangers for the amount of time we were there, but the coolest thing was actually the way that you requested room service or hit the do not disturb button. So the red is do not disturb. You'll see that red line there. And it turned blue because that would be if we were requesting service. Normally it just would have nothing, but that was my first time experiencing that in a hotel, and I thought that was pretty neat. We opted for an ocean view balcony, and normally I'm wary about a room that is near pools, but this was not a party hotel. This hotel had a conference center, and the pools closed at 8 o'clock. So even though we were near the pool, it really wasn't like a noise issue at night or anything like that. And the doors kept the noise out pretty good during the afternoon as well when there were activities, if there was ever a time that we wanted to take a nap or anything. And this area was the lazy river, the slides, as well as this kids area. And the other kids area was Camp Club. I showed that earlier in the video. That is a place where you can drop off your kids and they can just have fun all day. We grabbed some light food and drinks at one of the places that became a favorite for us. And after a day of just enjoying the weather and the water, we went to dinner early at Ono, which is their teppanyaki restaurant. Now, this was the only place that you had to have a reservation for. And I did enjoy it, but I wouldn't say it's a must do if you are used to having teppanyaki. Yes, they did some things a little bit differently, but I wouldn't say there was anything that necessarily stood out to me. And again, we did the teppanyaki, so it's not like we explored their sushi menu or anything like that. The teppanyaki was kind of like a prefix menu, so if we ever went back, I would like to explore their menu more. The next day was a pool and beach day for us, and we were really lucky to have very nice weather the entire time that we were here. I dressed pretty casually for most of the time we were here. None of the restaurants really had any strict guidelines for dress. It all just said casual, so I did bring dresses that I wore for fun, but I really didn't have to dress up very often. We had plans to eat at Hana, which is their breakfast buffet. It's actually open for breakfast as a buffet and then later on for dinner. But we did want to stop into the cafe just to see what the offerings were. This became my place to grab a chai latte in the mornings. I really liked it, but for someone like me who doesn't eat red meat or pork and really isn't into sweets, outside of that, there really wasn't much here for me. I love a mimosa, but I learned very quickly that that was not the drink to order here. It just was never good. But this was, as I said, a pool and beach day. We spent a lot of time in the water, and then we made sure to check out the taco stand that opened up around lunchtime. So there were a few different meats to choose from. Two of the ones that I could have was a fish and a shrimp. And then there were all of these toppings you got to put on yourself. So we had a really great time with that. And we took our lunch right up to our room, ate it on our balcony, and then took a nap. We were really happy when we got up to our room that it was nice and clean and just ready for us to shower and nap. That night, we ended up wandering around the resort because we could not find the authentic Mexican restaurant that was supposed to be on the property. Little did we know that it was right next to Ono, and we should have seen it the night before. But eventually, we were pointed in the right direction, and I have to say, the food here was phenomenal. The only thing that wasn't that great were the drinks. They were served in this pot, which ended up just getting really cold and wet over time. And I ordered two different drinks, and neither of them were that great. The next day was excursion day, and we were super excited about that. The person at the excursion desk had recommended that we grab towels. Since we were doing the jungle snorkel tour, there was actually plenty of wind to dry us off in the speedboat, and we really didn't need the towels, but it was nice to have. It wasn't too far of a walk to Aqua World, but we did realize once we arrived at the building that there was a crosswalk right at Aqua World, so we didn't need to cross directly at the street where the hotel was. We could have just walked down the road on the sidewalk and then crossed at Aqua World. But we learned. After a little bit of time to go over instructions of how to drive the boat as well as some hand signals, we were good to go. We started off a little behind because one of the boats in our group was having difficulty, but then we eventually were the ones to have the most difficulty. We broke down completely. They had to bring another boat and we had to switch boats, like in the middle of the water, climb onto another boat. But after that, there were no more issues and we were able to arrive at our snorkeling destination. We had such a great time. I highly recommend this excursion. We truly loved it. It was a shame, but we came back from such a great excursion and were ready to eat. I wouldn't recommend the pizza. There wasn't anything wrong with it necessarily. It just really wasn't that great. There are tons of other options that are way better, but we decided to have a pool and a beach day, and then the plan was to eat dinner at Press Start. Unfortunately, the service was not that great, and to be completely honest, the food wasn't that great either. Now, I would say that when it came to the service, everyone was still super kind. It just was very slow, and unfortunately, the server we had was a little forgetful. But we decided to end our night well and had some drinks in the lounge. I ended up grabbing fries from Moe's, and we probably should have gone there for dinner instead, but it was a great way to redeem the night. I feel kind of bad leaving off on a negative note, but the next video will have some great food as well as our private dinner on the beach and an island excursion. So as always, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye.